Hi, this is Vi from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to show you how to create this tool. In a prior video, I showed you how to create a similar card for my brother, and I used the Altenew Vintage Roses that sometimes it's hard to get the position, and having a position tool like this, and where I can position my stamp and then close the lid and go ahead and use it to stamp multiple times on the same area, works very well. And this is with acrylic stamp, and then this is with a rubber stamp, one of those clean rubber stamps. I made this card using the same technique. So what I want to show you is how to create this. Now I did some prototype. I did this one, and what I used is some repositional adhesive, so that way I can go ahead and put my card on here, and that way it won't move. And then I remembered that I had some of this magnetic latex primer, and what this does, you put this on a wall, and especially for kids' room, and they can play with magnets, you know, lettering and things like that. So I bought this some time ago. I do have a video where I created a magnetic easel using this primer, and you have to do a couple of coats. So I did not do it to this. Now I was playing with different types of stamping, and this is another one that I was playing with, and see how well it really stays. You need 3 coats, but this one has 3 coats of that magnetic paint, and these strong magnets really stays on it. Look at that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and create another one. Now this one I did not like as much because it really, what I used for the base is it wasn't very well done. I mean, this is one of my prototypes, and I used some cardboard that I had. It did squished down. I did create some of these with the adhesive on there. Not my favorite stamping tool. I do have it here. It does work, but it's not my favorite. So I'm not going to show a video on this one because this is a flop. And how to create these were my other prototypes of stamping tools that you can go ahead and put. And this one has magnetic. I put a magnetic sheet underneath. I'll put the link where I show you how to create these. And it has a magnetic sheet. You put your card, and you can pick it up like so, and it will stamp. So this is one prototype that I created. Here's another one of the same kind of tool that I created. But I really, really like this one. Not this one, but this one. And actually there's another one that I'm going to create, a 12 by 12 version of this one. That I do have it already all cut, and it's going to be made out of wood. That's my next prototype that I'm going to create to see how it works. And I want to create one for my sister. This one was made with foam board. Very easy, very light, very portable. It was made with glass. I was using a glass. It doesn't give, so the glass doesn't give as well as if I use acrylic. See how it gives a little, which might be a little better. So for my sister, I went ahead and got acrylic for her. It was a little more pricey than the glass, but I think it works a lot better. So, and then I learned from that one, what I learned is I really want to create it the same size as my acrylic glass or my acrylic paint here. I do want to use some holes for her because I really want to make her one that is going to last, and I've learned, so I want to create one that she's going to treasure. I also going to use these rivets, I guess it's called, and it's this stuff that I bought some time ago, and that works pretty well. Look how well it did adhere to this. I want to make it real sturdy because I want it to last for her forever. And then what I did is I cut strips about 1 inch for the sides, and then I'm going to use these hinges, and I'm going to place that here, and I already marked that out. So I think hers is going to come out fantastic, and I'm very happy that hers is going to be very, very nice. I already started putting some paint, magnetic paint on hers, And I'm going to give her two. One is going to be only one foam thickness for when she's using those rubber cling stamps, and one has two thickness. I need to prime this with 2 more coats of this magnetic primer. You need at least 3. I'm going to get all my stuff ready. I'm going to go ahead and prime it again. 2 more coats of this. I want to make sure I have this all ready, so when I complete my project, we can... What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay my pieces here. So this piece goes here. It goes in between the hinges. And I may be able to cut these out. So let me go ahead and cut those out. Okay. I do not want to put my hinge yet because I think I will put the hinge on first on the lid, and then I'll place the hinge down here once I have it on the lid. I think that's the best way to do this. But I will put in the guards right here. So this goes in the center. And I want to use Gorilla Glue for this because I want to make sure it really stands up for her. These you want to frame it out because you want to make sure that your plexiglass is above your stamped image. So that's why I put these like bumpers, and it also will keep my paper confined within the square. I'm placing some heavy books on top to make sure that everything adheres well to the base. So I'm going to let it dry overnight. I got to get another plexiglass, and I shall be back to show you how to create this. So now I'm going to show you, this is my last coat. I put 3 coats of, or actually you need 3 coats of this magnetic paint. I only have 2. And the reason I want to show you this is because I want to show you a little trick that I use to put these on. And it's basically so that way when I put magnets, they don't come off. Now this one, if you saw my video, I did put a metal sheet in between the foam. But I had this magnetic paint lying around, and I decided instead of wasting money and buying some more sheets, that I'll just use this because, you know, it's been here. I've had this for a while. I haven't used it except to create my magnetic easel. So might as well use it because it was not that cheap. So what I do is I sand down the surface so it's nice and soft. And just to recap, in case you missed it, this is a one sheet, and this is for when I use my rubber cling stamp, and then this has 2 sheets, and this is for when I use my acrylic stamp, the clear stamps. So I take a palette knife, make sure it's nice and mixed, put it on like it was frosting. And then what you can use, the last thing you can use is a very soft brush. Dip it in water and then see if you can smooth it out. And see how it smooths it out once you dip it in water. Okay, so I think I'm done with this piece. I'm going to set it aside to dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So see how it's nice and even. And I'm going to set this aside. Because I'm back. Okay, I am back. And I let this dry overnight. And look how nice and sturdy that is. And I'm going to go ahead and cover it with maybe with a little bit of paper to make it look nicer before I put the plexiglass. But this is the one that I broke. So I went ahead and got another one. But I cut that off. And I'm going to create another one. And actually what I'm going to be using is this very light paper or cardboard that I found. I already started putting some paper around it so it looks nice. And I am going to cut it a little bit in to make a little groove or for inside. And then I'm going to use this for the top. So this is the second one that I'm going to create with my mistakes. So I'm going to do that. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. And the plexiglass that I just purchased is perfect. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and mark it where I want to create the holes. Here, I'm going to use my heat tool to create the holes on this one. And then I already got my sheets all primed up, and I want to make sure they fit in here. And it needs a little bit because it does have some glue. I'm going to go ahead and shave a little bit off. And let's see how it works. Okay, we need to cut a little more here. So I'm going to keep cutting and I'll do the same thing. Okay, so I'm back. This dried overnight and I'm going to cover this with this tape right along the sides here so that it will finish off very nicely. I went ahead and these are finished. So it has 3 coats of this magnetic latex paint or primer. And then I had to trim it a little bit in order to fit my opening, but see how it fits? And this one will be nice for the acrylic stamps, and for my rubber stamps, I'm going to go ahead and use this one, and we're going to test it out. And now what I want to do first is I want to go ahead and use some gel medium, and I'm going to apply my tape along the edges. And this tape I got it at Amazon, and I will put the link to all the supplies used, so that way if you do want to create this project and you don't have a store next to you that has these products, you can go ahead and click on the link and get the products. So I want this 1 inch, and I think I may want to do it the other way. I'm going to get a brush because I don't want this to peel off of my my sheet here. So I'm going to make sure I cover it with some gel medium, which means I'm going to have to let this dry before I do my next process, which is to place the plexiglass on with my hinges. Okay. And I want to wrap this around like so. I'm going to go ahead and cut this right there. Give it some time to adhere. So I'm going to go ahead and place the other one here. I'm going to put a little bit here and here and then here. Well, actually, I might even just put the whole thing here. Don't know yet. We'll see. I'll play it by ear. So I'll be back, and then I'll show you how we're gonna place these down. So what I wanted to do is create a grid on top of the acetate. So I made 1 inch markings. Now this is my prototype. I was just making sure that I can do this before I kind of attempt it with my sisters. And I created 1 inch grid on top of the plexiglass, and then on hers I did 1/2 inch grid. So now I'm just creating the holes for my plexiglass for my sister and cleaning it up and making sure that my brad fits through it. Another big mistake that I did is that I did the scoring or the grid on the wrong side. I should have made it over here, because when I put this here, my holes did not match afterwards. So I had to redo the holes. Hopefully my sister is okay with it. So now I'm putting a little bit of Gorilla Glue, making sure that it's going to be nicely secure. I'm using this tool by Karen Foster, but at the end I end up breaking out the hammer because it's a lot easier. Plus I put some tape just to make sure it will have a nice contact. Now I'm putting the hinges on the bottom and putting a little bit of Gorilla Glue so that way it'll be nicely secure there. Better. So you really got to press it down. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good. Okay, so let's test it out. Let's go ahead and test this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a big one on here. Okay. Oh, my hands are so dirty. I'm gonna get 2 magnets, because the reason why I painted this is I want to use my magnets and see it works very nice with the magnets. Let's get a piece of paper. I got this piece of paper. So let's test it, make sure that it won't come off. Yep. Paper's not coming out. Staying nice and sturdy on there. Okay. Let me go ahead and put that there. My ink pad. Pick it up. Oh, nicely. Picked it up pretty nice. I think I'm off screen. Gonna ink this up. Clean the edges. And let's see how well it stamps. Oh, it stamps beautiful. Let me go ahead and do it again. So let's say I made a mistake. Clean it up. The reason why I got her plexiglass is because my glass does not give. So if you use glass like I did with the other one, even though it's cheaper, it doesn't give. This one gives. Look how beautiful that is. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and take this one out. Love it. I'm loving this. Let's take this one out. And let's go ahead and put the other one. Now let me get a stamp that it is like this. A rubber stamp. Happy Times. Let's use this one. So let's say I want Happy Times on here. Pick it up. So let's say I make a mistake. I'm going to take some of it off. Like that. I stamp it. And I say, oh, that doesn't look too nice. Okay, so let's stamp it again. This time I make it real juicy. Clean the surroundings. And do it again. Is it going to work? Oh yeah, look at that. And see, it's still not, let's say I'm not really happy with it yet. I want it darker. Let's do it again. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Oh, let's do it a 4th time. Because I want it real, 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 real dark. Yes. So look at that. I love it. So I hope I inspired you to create one of these. Now, it didn't come out too much. I bought this stuff was in the dollar store. The acrylic was the most expensive item, and it was $3.47. The hinges were $1.88. These brads, I had them a long time ago. I just placed them on there. And I'm just gonna leave that on. And I had paint. Now if you buy the paint, this was a little pricey, but you get a lot. And I'm able to make 2 magnetic boards, but you know, you can always buy just a metal sheet and put it underneath here. So you can put the metal sheet here, and instead of painting your foam. Okay, I came back because I went ahead and put a sealant on this because this is like chalk paint and I didn't want to have any chances of chipping, especially taking on and off the magnet. So I put 1 coat of this fast finish decoupage. It says it's bonds and seals, paper, fabric, wood, glass, metal, and ceramics. Always clear, never tacky. So I think this will seal it nicely, and I'll put another coat when it looks like it may need another coat. So I'll put 2 coats on it. So I'm done with this project. So here's the one I've created for my sister. It even has grids in there and a little smudge, but I'll clean it all up for her, and that will be her present because I was playing with it, and you saw how it works very well. And then it has, you know, this one. No, it's actually this one. So I have one with a foam, so when she uses acrylics, you can insert this here and use her foam ones. Actually, this is for the acrylic because it's 2 thickness. This is 1 thickness of foam. Either one is going to work because the plexiglass is pretty flexible, so it'll work. And I got Gorilla Glue attached to it, so it's going to last forever. Ah! Had some of these over there. Those magnets are very strong. And then I put a saying in the back, made with love, for my beautiful sister. And I think it's going to last her a while. I'm very happy with this one. It's very nice, made with acrylic. And then for my mother-in-law, I was playing with the other acrylic that I cut, and I just shattered it. I don't know what. That acrylic didn't want to be put in a project for sure because it got shattered. So I decided to use these dividers. So if you have the copper hopper and you have these dividers, these will work. Not this one because it's not, you need one that has a slick surface. This one is very slick and glossy, so this one works very well. This one, the acrylic stamp are not gonna hold on. See, they fall off. So you really don't want to use this type of plastic. You want to use a plastic, a real thick plastic, and I bet acetate will work well if you have a real thick acetate, but that's what I use here, and it works pretty nice. I used a regular box, okay, and I like it. So I made her one out of wood. So this is wood. I'm going to go ahead and paint the back a different color so it don't look so ugly. But this is just a regular one of those really thick boxes, and see if I have this thing. It's these boxes. So I took one of these, I put paper around it, and used that for my base. Make it very light for her because, you know, she's an older person and she doesn't have a lot of strength, so I didn't want to create one that's very heavy. So it's very, very light, fits anywhere, and you can insert this, and we're going to try it out. So I'm going to show you how it works. So this is another good idea. So if you don't have acrylic, an acrylic, you can use those plastics dividers from your copper hopper, or a real thick acetate. It would also work. So let me see where I put the paper. Okay, so you're gonna put, love the magnet, it holds it down very nicely. Okay, not going to move anywhere. And look at this one. The good thing about using a plastic is very malleable, so you really could get a good impression. Yeah, and again, of course, when you start filming, you lose all your inks. Anyhow, so here I got my ink. Make sure it's that you have a very good cling on your stamp, because it will fall. You don't want it to fall off after you turn the lid. You don't want it to kind of fall off. So make sure it's there very, very securely. And look at it. See, it didn't come out that nice. Well, let's go ahead and fix that. I may be off camera, but I'm sorry. Let me bring you back in. And this is actually a lot more economical than buying an acrylic glass. And I didn't get enough on that side. Let's go ahead and see if we can make the impression on that side. See how nice that looks. Okay, so now you can also use just a regular acrylic. So let's go ahead and play with that. And I'm going to put Cherish. Make sure, see, this cling is not as clingy. So what you do is, let me see if I find my cleaner. You clean the back of it. Make sure it doesn't have any dust or anything that will take away from it clinging on your acrylic lid, or even if you use just a regular acetate lid. You want to make sure it's nice and clean. And see, now it's clingy. And then let's go ahead, stamp it up. Hope you're in frame. I apologize if you're not. I don't have my camera hooked up to the computer. You want to clean any smudge around here. And then, oops. Press it down. I didn't get a good impression, so let's do it again. You want to go ahead and clean around your stamp area. Okay, and let's do it again. Perfect. And then let's take this one out and let's test this one. So mainly I made her this for when she's using rubber stamps. And I made her this one so when she's using acrylics, it will work. This one has a good cling to it, so I don't need to clean it. So let's see how well. And the good thing about using, instead of acrylic, using an acetate for your lid is that it's very flexible. So it doesn't matter which, either this or the other one you have, it will work. Because you can push it into the board. So if you feel like you want a little more cushion, you can always put see, actually the cushion gives a little better impression for these acrylic stamps. But either one will work very nice. Look how nice that came out. So I hope you like this video. And so there's a couple of different ones that you can make. You can make one with a box and an acetate lid. Let me clean it. I'll have to clean this before I give it to her with some alcohol just to remove the ink. But you have this model, and you have this model using an acrylic lid. This is an 8x10 and foam cord. And my plates are foam, They're not wood, they're just foam. And then you have my prototype, and then I have a thin one layer and 2 layer. So those are the two that I really like how they came out. These are my first one. This was actually my first one. Don't like it too much. It's okay, it works, but it could be better. I use a glass instead of acrylic. I recommend acrylic better because you really, this is not, would not give. So you really need all these padding in order for it to work. But it still works. So I'm going to keep it. It still works. But it, you know, acrylic is a lot better. This is my second prototype. It also works, and you saw a video on how I use this. It works very well. I'm using actually just 3-positional adhesive to keep my paper on here while I stamp. But my absolute best are these two. I really love this one. And I love this one because it's very economical. This one's a little less economical, but still I love it because I'm able to make those grids on the lid. So I hope you had a good time with me, and I gave you some ideas, and thank you for watching. Bye now.